want to tell you about a special event coming up Saturday night, February 4th at the Gonzales Civic Center on Irma Boulevard in Gonzales. It's a charity event benefiting the Crew of Gonzales Fraternal Order of Police, the Dream Day Foundation, a black tie event, a charity event, again, Saturday night, February 4th. You can get tickets at the Fraternal Order of Police headquarters at Debbie's Bridal on Burnside in Gonzales, or Mr. Fix-It's in Gonzales. Reserve that table, get those tickets. It's coming up fast. A portion of the sales from Debbie's Bridal will go to the benefactors, the Dream Day Foundation, and the Crew of Gonzales Fraternal Order of Police, Jambalaya Lodge number 16. So put that on your calendar. It's a charity event, a black tie event, a great deal. A little Mardi Gras ball down in Gonzales, Saturday, February the 4th. Got Troy LaBeouf in here, sports director at KKAY 1590 AM, the home of Pelican Sports Radio, and Jordy Holberg, Chad Bluen, and Buddy Sanji, local sports talk, Baton Rouge, South Louisiana, 1590 AM. You can always send us an email if you need more information or you want the smartphone app or the internet address. Our email address, pelicanbroadcasting@gmail.com. We'll get it to the necessary people and get you an answer, pelicanbroadcasting@gmail.com. Right now, as we do just about every Wednesday, we are joined by Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com, a guy that's been very busy through the recruiting period and the signing period that started today. Brian, how you doing?
Good. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Tommy Chrysan here, Brian. Glad to meet you. Just having a little fun.
You got me a little confused here. You're right. It's been a long day.
I know. It's been a long day. A lot of people doing a lot of things. Brian, I want to get your overall analysis in general of the class, the 22 players signed by LSU today.
Well, there it is. First of all, you know, it's disappointing, obviously, that LSU didn't get some of the better players in the state. You know, Landon Collins, you know, they lost him in a battle with Alabama. Denzel Duval, a linebacker from Bastrop, who really was, LSU offered him, but was never in the picture because he considered himself a 3-4 outside linebacker, and LSU plays the 4-3, so he never really seriously considered LSU and ended up going to Alabama. And then today, you know, the switch of Tashiro Davis, the defensive end from Woodlawn, making the switch to go to Texas. And I think that sort of upset the LSU staff, you know, really a little bit more than the Landon Collins situation did. So it's disappointing they lost those three guys. You want to get your best guys in the state. For the first time probably in a while, LSU lost some guys in state, or that many that they offered scholarships to. Now, still, they're bringing in a nice number of players. Les Miles stressed today that they met needs. If you look at it, they signed 6 linebackers and 4 defensive backs, so that's 10 of their members of the signing class right there at 2 positions. Now, you look at that, there's no doubt they need linebackers, not necessarily for next year, but on the 2012 roster, there is no redshirt freshman linebacker because Trevon Randall, who was redshirted, has left the program, and the only sophomore linebacker is DJ Welter. Everybody else, every other scholarship linebacker is a junior, so looking down the road, they're going to need some linebackers, and LSU signed 6 of them. The secondary, LSU lost 3 of its top 6 defensive backs. Now, they do have quite a few redshirt freshman secondary players, as well as Ronald Martin, who played a little bit at the end of the year, but you need to have 6, and it's very important to keep that number coming in, so as a result, they signed 4 guys in the secondary. Les Miles today was very happy with the guys at those 2 positions. I would say the other important position was quarterback, because there's no doubt LSU does not want to be in the same position it was in 2008 when they were forced to start a Harvard transfer, Andrew Hatch at quarterback, and the only other 2 quarterbacks were a redshirt freshman, Jarrett Lee, and a true freshman, Jordan Jefferson. So it was important for them to get a quarterback. Everybody knows the circumstances surrounding Gunnar Keel. They pick up Jeremy Liggins, you know, from Oxford, Mississippi, and Les Miles spoke glowingly of Liggins today. Now, look, everybody's concerned. He's listed at 270. Miles admitted he weighs closer to 280. They're going to get him down. You know, I think I look for his desired playing weight to be about 250. So that's what they're going to try to do to, you know, get him down to about 250 pounds.
All right, Brian, that was what I was going to ask you about Liggins' weight. I've seen some stuff on him on YouTube. I've seen everything from 260 to 290. You're saying Coach Miles said 280. It'll remain to be seen with him and what he'll do. But anyway, I mean, LSU, you know, go 14th according to ESPN's rankings. I know all that's subjective a little bit, but overall, compared to Miles' tenure at LSU, is this, you know, perhaps the weakest class on paper that he's had?
Well, if you look back at Rivals rankings, his first class in 2005 finished number 22 in the country. So this class is probably going to end up somewhere in the teens. So it's on paper with Rivals rankings, it will probably go down to be Les's second poorest. It's the first time they've not finished in the top 10 since 2008. Okay, in 2008 they finished number 11 in the nation. So, you know, yeah, it's, if you want to rank them, look at it on paper, it's probably not one of his stronger classes. And again, part of it, I mean, there's two things. Number one, Louisiana was not that strong this year. And number two, they didn't get, you know, the top players in the state.
We're talking with Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian, quickly, basketball team has lost 4 in a row in conference play, as you pointed out last week and the week before, the toughest part of the SEC schedule. They're biting on that right now. Arkansas comes to the PMAC Saturday. Can this team have a better February than they had January? Well,
I think this is for the first time in Trent Johnson's tenure. You're going to be able to make a pretty good judgment on where he's going with the program right now. You know, he came in the first year, inherited a senior team, did a great job of coaching them. Those guys played better than what they had done in the past under John Brady, won the SEC championship. The last 2 years, you know, hadn't been players there, and LSU has been the worst team in the SEC. You're now in his, you know, 4th year, but, you know, recruiting-wise, it's really only his 3rd year, and it's time for him to show some progress. Well, they are at, like I said, 2-5, but if you look at the schedule, you know, they've had to play Florida, they've had to play Alabama, they've had to play Mississippi State, they've had to play Kentucky, and they played all of those except for Kentucky on the road. Things will lighten up a little bit now. You know, everybody saw Arkansas upset Vanderbilt last night. Arkansas is undefeated at home this year and hasn't won a game on the road. So, yeah, even though everybody's going to say, man, Arkansas has beaten Mississippi State and they've beaten Vanderbilt, how can LSU beat them? Well, it's very simple. They're going to be away from Bud Walton Arena. So this is a winnable game for LSU, and I think LSU down the stretch, you know, if you look at their last 9 games, the only one where you may say is they're a significant underdog is when they go to Vanderbilt next Wednesday. They have to play Alabama and Mississippi State again, but both of those games will be in Baton Rouge. And then they have the teams that are, you know, more or less like them as regards talent and experience. Arkansas, Tennessee, and Georgia at home, Auburn, Ole Miss, and South Carolina on the road. 9 games to go. I think expecting this group to win 5 of the 9 would definitely show that they're making some progress. If they win 5 of these 9, it would finish 7-9 in the conference and would have 17 overall victories. So I think that's, you know, it's very. The time is now for them to win some games. It's no more, well, we lost a close win or, you know, something like that. Over these next 9 games, LSU needs to put together some victories.
Brian Lazar, tell the folks what they're going to get when they go to TigerBait.com, in particular the information on the 22 signees by the football team today.
Lots of information on the recruiting class this year, and then more importantly, Junior Day is on Saturday, and we'll start getting to work on the 2013 signing class.
Brian Lazar, TigerBait.com. As always, we appreciate it. We'll visit with you again soon.
Okay, thank you a lot, Tommy.
All right, that's Brian Lazar doing his usual great job. When we come back, we're going to take it over to the Diamond. Going to have a little baseball stuff for you with Coach Paul Maneri, pitching coach Alan Dunn, some player comments. We'll mix in some baseball, have a few basketball comments. Troy's the basketball kind of guy. We'll get some of his take on that, following up Brian's comments. And then we're still going to recap the LSU football signing class for you here on tonight's program. Spread the roar. Tell your friends and family about it. Streaming on the internet worldwide at PelicanSportsTV.com with Troy LaBeouf, sports director at KKAY 1590 AM. I'm Tommy Chrysan. Stay with us. We've got more.
I am Glenn Big Baby Davis, and you're watching Pelican Sports Television.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
Hey, you expecting a refund and want a new car? Come to North American Automotive Group on Airline. We make it easy. Bring your W-2, file your taxes, use it towards your down payment, and drive home today. North American Auto on Airline.
The family dental practice of Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr. and our highly trained staff are dedicated to providing care and treatment to our patients of all ages in all aspects of dental care. 23 years of experience and advanced training in cosmetic and restorative dentistry, TMJ, and treatment of snoring and sleep apnea allows Dr. Fruget to assist you in achieving the best in dental health. Call us today at 292-9700 to schedule your initial evaluation, because we know how to make you smile.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com has been extremely beneficial for the TM Automotive Group. And what stands out to us, it's easy to use, not only for us, but it's easy for the applicants. And it's the quality of applicants that we get. It's timely. We post something in the morning. By that afternoon, we have double-digit applicants. And again, it's the quality of the applicants.
Employers, now is a great time to hire, recruit, and look for potential new employees.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com. It's free for job seekers and great for business.
Total Occupational Medicine has been treating injured workers and providing drug tests and employment physicals in our community with a staff of certified professionals for over 20 years. Conveniently located at 3333 Drusilla Lane at I-12, Total Occupational Medicine can assess your needs and present a plan to get your injured workers back to work as soon as medically appropriate. Call Jim Bollinger or Dennis Taylor at 924-4460 to put the experienced team at Total Occupational Medicine to work for you today. That's 924-4460.
This Saturday night, February the 4th, a free live show in New Orleans at the Howlin' Wolf in the Warehouse District. At doors opening at 9 o'clock. CD release party for Lillian Axe. Stevie Blaze, and nobody rocks it better than him. And he will be having a free party for you. The CD is called The Day Is Before Tomorrow. For more information, go to lillianaxe.com. Again, a free live show Saturday night, February 4th at the Howlin' Wolf in the Warehouse District in New Orleans. If you're in the neighborhood, you like rock and roll, you don't want to miss it. Lillian Axe this Saturday night. Again, lillianaxe.com. They're also on Facebook. Troy LaBeouf, baseball starts Friday, February 17th when LSU entertains the Air Force Academy. Our Pelican Sports TV crew and myself, we were on hand last Friday when Paul Maneri met with the media to talk a little bit about baseball. We got some clips from Coach Maneri, clips from new pitching coach Alan Dunn, some player comments as well for you, comments on the lineup and the conference schedule. Here now is the first segment we have for you from Baseball Media Day with Coach Maneri and some of the players.
We're really excited about this season. You know, a lot's already been made about our pitching staff. Certainly our pitching staff is going to need to lead the way for our club this year, and I think it will. You know, a lot's been made also about our season in 2011, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that, but just a couple of thoughts about that. Obviously, it ended in a very disappointing way without receiving an invitation to the NCAA tournament. You know, it was a very disappointing time when that happened. But it was kind of a mixture of emotions because our team was really playing well at the end of the year. We were 12-3 in our last 15 games. That was part of the reason why I was upset about us not getting a bid, because the NCAA championship manual clearly states that how you perform in your last 15 games should play a major factor in whether or not you receive a bid. Certainly not the only factor, but the way our team was playing at the end of the year, I thought we were playing as good as anybody in the country, quite frankly. We've had a very successful weekend in Starkville the last weekend of the season, and then you saw Mississippi State go sweep through the Atlanta Regional and give Florida all they could handle in the Super Regional. And I just felt very strongly that had we been given the opportunity, we certainly could have made some noise and perhaps made it all the way to Omaha. I still feel that we would have. I know it's water under the bridge, but the reason I bring it up is because I do believe that how we finished the season has given our team a lot of confidence going into this year. Other than losing Mikey Matuk and a couple of other guys, we really virtually have the entire team back from last year. Obviously, the loss of Mikey is a tremendous loss. He's one of the great players in the history of LSU baseball. But at the same time, I think sometimes our team relied so much on Mikey to come through with the big hit or the big play that, not to say that the rest of the guys stood around and watched him play all the time, but we always kind of felt that, well, if you don't come through, Mikey will. Well, now I think the team is going to have more of a feeling that they're all going to contribute, and it's a responsibility that all of them are going to equally share in our offensive and defensive team.
You know, I think we all expect to be in Omaha every year, and I think, you know, with this facility and with, you know, the guys that LSU recruits, you know, I think they should do that. And, you know, that's something that we all really take to heart, and we all, you know, we all try to get better every day, and you know, we try to just, you know, keep that LSU baseball legacy going and keep the tradition here going. And, you know, it's great when you get guys like, you know, Paul Bird and, you know, all those guys come back and, you know, talk to us. And, you know, I think they're trying to get Brian Wilson to come to our first pitch banquet, so that would be cool to meet him. But, you know, I think, you know, we all just try to live up to the hype. And, you know, I think during football season, you know, that was something that we actually focused on a lot. Was, you know, we want to be as good as the football team. You know, we want to be hyped up just like the football team is. You know, be #1 in the country the whole season and stuff. You know, of course, we would like to win that last game, but you know, that's something that we all really took to heart this year.
Just having the experience, I think, is going to help us a lot. Just staying on that grind. We've been working hard all throughout the fall and throughout the spring, and what's key for us is to not slow down. Whether we taste success or not, you know, we gotta stay on that grind, working harder every day, and that's going to be our toughest challenge.
I just think we need to just go out and compete every day. You know, we learned from last year. That was a tough pill to swallow, you know, but we're hungry this year, and that's something that's going to, you know, lead us, I think, in the right direction.
Yeah, what's it like? We're done looking at that. I mean, that was tough. That was a hard thing to swallow, but now, I mean, come out here the first day, kind of forgot about it, but we're ready to play. I mean, we're ready to get that game going because once February 17th comes around, it's go time. It's time to play ball. There's no more thinking in the past anymore because it's a new year.
The key component of this LSU football team is their pitching staff with Gosman and Eads and McCune. Somebody in the bullpen will have to step up. 3 guys that were freshmen last year that got a lot of weekend experience, threw a lot of innings, ate up a few innings. And here's Coach Maneri to talk about the pitching staff, not just the 3 guys that we know about, but how the rest of that staff, the other 11, 12 guys, are going to have to really step up and be important for this team.
Let's go back to the pitching. I mentioned earlier that there's been a lot made about our pitching, and I've made some very bold comments about our pitching already. And I think the boldness of those comments is very well placed. I think Bill Frank has told me that last year, at the end of the year, when we were starting 3 freshmen on our rotation in the SEC, that it may have been the first time in LSU, at least modern baseball history, that had happened. And it didn't happen because we just needed somebody to pitch, those three guys were outstanding. You know, if you look at most of the prognostications about Kevin Gausman, if he does what he's capable of doing this year, he's got a chance to be a very, very high draft choice. He's a draft-eligible sophomore this year. I also believe Ryan Eads, a year from now, will be in that same situation that I just spoke of about Kevin Gausman. And Kurt McCune, who was our Friday night starter for most of the year last year and a freshman All-American, he went 7-4, certainly rounds us out with an outstanding weekend starting rotation. And I wouldn't trade that rotation, honestly, for anybody else's rotation in the country.
We still got a ways to go to see who's going to fill in those particular areas. But again, I think our depth, I like the depth of our arms, the possibilities of guys that can fit in those roles. And now it's just a matter of, as we continue to go through this preseason and see the guys who are going to step up and help us figure out who the guys are going to be in those roles. But I definitely like our options and the depth that we have, and just looking forward to seeing who's going to step up.
I think you just try to put your team in a situation to win every day. You know, I think you try to go deep into games, but you can't think about that. You just got to go out there and make the pitches. You know, go pitch by pitch, and really just try to put your team in a situation to win, and make that big pitch in the big situation.
Thus far, Kevin has been throwing the ball extremely well. It's definitely something that we're trying to address a little bit, more to get a little better feel for it, how he's going to use it, and it's just a matter of getting out there. I mean, very gifted young man, and it's just something that we've talked about. We're trying to implement it into his repertoire and see where we go with it from here.
Confidence just coming in. I know having that experience, what it takes. I know the games where I weren't successful and the games that I was successful, like what I did those games. And it's something I worked on, during the off season. And I just have a lot more knowledge coming into the game this year, and I'm ready for it.
Kurt, I love what Kurt brings to this staff from a leadership standpoint, and obviously having had an opportunity to see Kurt in the fall, and then see things from last year, just some video and so. He does the things that you want pitchers to. He fills that strike zone up. He knows who he is as a pitcher. And he just goes out and stays within himself, and from what I saw last year, just put up W's and kept the team in the game to give the team a chance to win. I think that's what you're looking from pitchers, is giving your team an opportunity to go out and win the game. That's what I want these guys to do, and I think that what I've seen thus far, that's where I feel extremely happy that we're going to be able to do that.
Aaron Nola is a strike-throwing machine. Could have signed professionally. We're very fortunate that he arrived here on LSU's campus, and he's kind of cut of the same mold as Lewis Coleman, Jared Bradford, kind of that hybrid pitcher that no matter what role I decide to use him in, I think he will excel. So he could either be a closer, a setup guy, or potentially even a starting pitcher, and I'm certain he'll be a starting pitcher before his career is over here at LSU.
I've already been able to break some tough love to him because just telling him, what I see. But he's growing as an individual, and he's made it through his first semester in college, so he's changing a good bit. But that's normal for a college kid, and he's doing a good job at it. I applaud him for everything he's done and the hard work he's put in, and hopefully it just continues to move on.
Nick Goody is a kid that comes out of a junior college in Florida, and he was a starting pitcher last year and was an all-conference performer, and then he went away in the summer, pitched in the Northwoods League where they converted him to a closer's role, and he really excelled in that role. Now, he didn't pitch as well as he or I would have hoped he would have this fall, but he's already starting to show that he's much better than what he showed in the fall. So whichever of those guys ends up closing the game, the other two guys are going to make outstanding setup men for us.
Obviously, you love to have guys that have ability, and I mean that. And that's what we want to try to stress is, again, what can you do, and just go out and do it. And like I say, the guys that we have, I feel extremely pleased with the arms that we have right now, and as we go forward, and just looking to get their skills better every day. So that's where we are right now. What have you seen?
I'm excited about them. Obviously, I'm very excited about Alan Dunn, our new pitching coach, working with those guys. I know a lot will be made about Alan's influence. I'm really hoping that in some regards he'll have the same influence on our program as John Chavis did on our football program, coming in as our new defensive coordinator a couple years ago. Alan has a tremendous ability to teach. I watch him work with the pitchers every day. It's really kind of mesmerizing because he's got a great balance of being firm with the players, but also very positive, and I think the kids are really reacting to his coaching.
We're all, I think me and Eads are really starting to get those numbers up there, and I think that's something that Dunn's really helped us. We all feel fresh every day with the amount of running that we're doing, and the core work that we're doing. Our trainer John Michelini's got us on arm care, and that stuff's just so so good for you. So we all feel healthy, and that's the biggest thing that I'm happy about is we're all healthy. Usually you get some freshman guys that aren't used to throwing this much and stuff, but we're all healthy. We all feel real good, and we're all ready to go out there and get those numbers going.
Just that competition we have, is obviously friendly competition. I love having it, whether we're running sprints and the football ops or working out, just everything we do, it makes it more fun. It makes working hard more fun, and I think it's definitely going to help us out.
When we come back, we got some more baseball stuff for you. Still going to talk a little basketball tonight and another little recap of the LSU signing class. 22 players inked letters of intent with LSU today. We've talked about it. You've heard from Coach Miles. You saw tape on about 9 or 10 of them. But when we come back, a little bit more baseball for you, then our weekly run through the LSU athletic department, and we'll recap the signing day. Troy LaBeouf, KKAY Sports Director, 1590 AM. I'm Tommy Chrysan. Stay with us. We got more Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
Hi, I'm Troy Landry. You're watching Pelican Sport TV. I'm fixing to shoot him. Shoot him.
Hey, you expecting a refund and want a new car? Come to North American Automotive Group on Airline. We make it easy. Bring your W-2, file your taxes, use it towards your down payment, and drive home today. North American Auto on Airline.
Welcome, Louisiana Music Hall of Fame inductees Lillian Axe. Free album release party. February 4th at the Howlin' Wolf, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. My law firm focuses specifically on helping people try to solve their IRS tax problems. Lately, so many new out-of-state companies are popping up claiming that if you send them money, they can resolve your IRS problems. Well, what happens if they don't? Do you hire an attorney? Maybe you should start with a local attorney that's already handled hundreds of IRS cases right here in Louisiana. When you hire the Bryson Law Firm, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesman. You'll meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and we'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it'll cost. So if you're hiring a company to resolve your IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, check their reputation first, then call me, Kerry Bryson, or go to BrysonLawFirm.com. If you're a Louisiana resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney, Kerry Bryson.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
As we told you, some more baseball stuff for you. The season starts Friday, February 17th against the Air Force Academy. Here's Coach Paul Maneri and some players talking about the 2012 lineup for those baseball Tigers.
Let me just go into our lineup. I know everybody's always curious about the lineup. I feel like we had 6 starters that we could really count on returning from last year's team, assuming that they all made a little bit of improvement. Let's start off with the catching situation. Tyler Ross will be certainly our everyday catcher. Last year he was thrust in there as a freshman, probably wasn't totally ready at times for what he had to deal with playing in the SEC, but because of some circumstances that had happened and the loss of Micah Gibbs after his junior year, he was our best option, and so he jumped in there and did the best he could. But there's no question we needed improvement out of our catching play.
I love throwing this high. He puts a good target up, and he's a big body to throw to. He makes the strike zone look small, and he's a leader out there. He's real vocal, and he just takes charge, and it feels good to be on the mound with Ty as a catcher. You know, I feel like it makes me a better pitcher having a good catcher, and I'm definitely proud to have Ty Ross as my catcher.
You know, when you look at our lineup, you see a team that maybe doesn't have the athleticism that we had back in '09, where you had guys like Jared Mitchell and DJ LeMahieu and Ryan Schimpf that could really run and have power, those kind of things. But I think what you're going to see out of this team is this lineup is a very hard-nosed, gritty, tough-out type of approach. We've got a lot of good line drive hitters. I think they'll have gap-to-gap power more so than they'll hit them in the seats. They're not exceptionally fast runners, but very good base runners, heady base runners. And I think you'll see them take the extra base a lot and that type of thing.
I mean, we're going to have a pretty solid lineup. You know, it's always tough to replace Mikey, but I think as a whole team, we're going to be able to come together and pick up that slack. You know, Mikey obviously had a great year last year. I mean, probably one of the best in college baseball. But we've got some really good position guys, and we've got some really good talent to really pick up the hitting and be a scrappy lineup that's going to score enough runs because we have a great pitching staff, and I think that's the biggest thing, that we do enough. We win, we hit in the clutch, hit in the close games, and I think that's going to be the biggest part.
Tyler Hanover and Austin Nola both could have signed professionally last year. They chose to come back for their senior year, and boy, am I glad they did. I just love those 2 kids, 2 of my favorite players of all time, because they're so hardworking. They're such great kids. They're team-oriented. They play in the clutch, both defensively and offensively, and they play every day. You couldn't get them out of the lineup unless there was a bone sticking out of their skin, I think. They're just great kids that I think are really the poster children for our program because of their work ethic and the way they carry themselves.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I never will regret this move ever again, and I mean, it's fun. I enjoy it. I mean, it's going to be fun. Last year, it's going to go by quick as every year's going by, but I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to this year.
Oh yeah, I mean, Hanover on the corner is always good, and you know, Noel up the middle, he's got the best glove I've ever seen. So, and you know, Casey Yoakum coming in, he's really hit the ground running. He's a really good infielder, but I mean, man, can he hit? I mean, he just hits. I mean, he hit like 540 or something in JUCO last year. That's ridiculous. But you know, you can see why. You know, he's got a pretty swing, and you know, he doesn't try to do too much. I think that's what it is. You know, he hits the ball where it's pitched.
He's been out there a lot. Confidence is a big thing. When you're out there playing games and you're out there in game situations, it makes all the difference in the world to be able to go out there and make the plays. Because in a practice and a fungo man, I mean, it can only be so much. But when you're out there playing games and you know you're working through game situations, that's how he's become more comfortable.
We brought Casey in as a shortstop thinking that there was a chance we could lose Austin Nola. When Austin came back to school, it was a wonderful thing. So what we did was we tried Casey at second base, and he played fantastic. He, along with Nick Rumbelow, and I'll mention Jackson Slade here in a few minutes, were probably the highlights of our fall practice. Casey probably hit over 400 in the inter-squad games and made all the plays at second base, and he could potentially be the heir apparent at shortstop. Of course, he'll compete for that with the incoming players, but I think Casey's going to be a good, solid, steady type of player for us. Jacoby Jones is a returning starting player. Now, I thought he was a tremendous second baseman last year, But I just feel with the loss of Matuk, replacing our center fielder was right up there with helping us develop a new bullpen. And Jacoby Jones is the best athlete on our team outside of Matuk last year. So during the course of the summer when he was playing up in Cape Cod, I asked his coach if he wouldn't play him some time in center field just to get him some innings. The coach called me back and said that with the scouts that he was talking to in Cape Cod, many of them felt that Jones was the best center fielder in the Cape Cod League. So I think you're going to see that he'll cover a lot of ground out there. He's got those long legs. He's got those long strides, and he can really cover some ground.
I'm excited about Jacoby in outfield. To me, he looks just like Mikey. You know, his athleticism and everything. He's been getting good jumps on balls in practice, and it feels good to have a guy out there like Jacoby on the mound.
At first base, I think we're going to rotate a lot of guys in, and I think we can. We got Tyler Moore, who's a left-handed hitter, first baseman. I think he'll be really good. And, I think our defense is going to be, our pitching and defense is going to be, our strongest asset this year. And, with the speed that we have in the outfield, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of spectacular catches out there this year.
So that really would leave one spot open for competition over the course of these next 3 weeks. You could look at it as a DH, but it could potentially be first base. It could potentially be left field. And we've got a handful of guys that are competing for that. Of course, you've got Alex Edward and Grant Dozar, who have played a significant amount of baseball over the last 2 years for us. Both of those guys are great team players, care more about the team than they do themselves, and they'll fill in whatever role that we identify for them. And then we're excited also about a couple of new players. Tyler Moore is a freshman out of Dunham High School. I think Tyler's going to have a really good career here at LSU. He was a high school infielder that they converted to catcher for a good portion of the end of his high school career. He's shown me that he can play third base if necessary. He'll probably be our third catcher behind Ty Ross and Jordy Snickeris, but he's also competing for the first base job or the DH job.
I think we have a very good lineup. We lost Matuk, he's tough to replace, but we have a really great lineup. I feel really confident about our hitters. We're going to be scrappy, and I think we're going to be pretty exciting.
We're going to talk about the schedule here in a minute. The pre-conference schedule is nothing to write home about. No big-time heavy hitters in it. Michigan and Notre Dame, big names, but not necessarily in the baseball world. Conference play, a couple of things about it. One, they don't play Tennessee this year. That's the team they don't play, and Tennessee's not all that good. You would think that could have been some wins. And two of the best teams in the country, ranked 1 and 3 respectively, for South Carolina and Florida. Both of those games are on weekend series on the road for LSU. But here's Coach Maneri and Coach Dunn talking about this year's baseball schedule.
It sounds like a broken record. Every year we stand up here and talk about this league in baseball. This might be the best it's ever been, quite frankly. Baseball America's poll came out the other day. I think y'all saw we were ranked 8th in the country. I had a friend call me from up north and say, wow, that's great, 8th in the country. I said, well, the other way to put that is 4th in the SEC. 11 in the top 11 teams, 6 of the teams were from the SEC. 7 if you include Texas A&M, who's coming in next year. That's just mind-boggling that one league can have so much talent and so many good teams. So on the road, we'll be playing the number 1, the number 2. What was South Carolina, 2 or 3? I don't remember. 3. So number 1, number 3, and number 22, Ole Miss. And at home, we'll be playing number 4, I think, was Arkansas. Number 10 was Vanderbilt. Number 11 was Georgia. Who knows by the time we play them what all those some of the other teams might end up being ranked that aren't ranked by the time we play them. But the league every year is just amazing. That's 18 of the 30 games that we just described. That doesn't even mention Mississippi State, who was a hair away from getting to Omaha last year with Florida tied in the 9th inning of the final game of their Super Regional. It's not even mentioning Auburn, who will play on the road. It's not mentioning Alabama, who we had a tough time with last year, and so forth. The league's just amazing.
The ceiling is very high for these young men, and I know it's a tough league. I mean, I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't already know. It's a tough league. and you have to have your A game every day, every weekend that you go out there. You have to have your A game. And what I've seen from these guys, I don't anticipate anything but these guys going out there, competing game in and game out, and giving us a chance to win. And that's what we're asking them to do. And I think their abilities are such that they can do that.
When we come back, we're going to talk some LSU basketball with the men and the women. Troy LaBeouf, a basketball guy, if you will. A little softball for you, a little soccer for you. Then we'll break, come back, and wrap up the signing class. 22 players, letter of intent out at LSU today, football-wise. Ranked anywhere from 12 to 15 in some of the national polls with the rankings. Alabama and Florida State on top of most of those signing class polls. So when we come back, it's the weekly run through the LSU Athletic Department right here on Tigers Roar, Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, and streaming on the internet, PelicanSportsTV.com. Stay with us.
Key attributes that really puts Papa John's Pizza over the top is our meats. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
For just $11, get our new double-layered premium pepperoni pizza, loaded with a layer of our signature pepperoni, plus a layer of oversized deli-style pepperoni. Just $11 for a large. Plus, get double points all weekend long and earn free pizza fast with Papa Rewards, only at papajohns.com. Sign up now.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Attention, all companies dealing with cash flow problems. Companies are going out of business every day. Bankruptcies are at an all-time high. Accounts receivable delinquencies are at the highest levels in decades. Let us help your business collect money owed to your business. NRH and Associates has the solutions. Let NRH and Associates utilize their innovative collection methods to get cash flow back into your business. Call 601-889-0501. That number again, 601-889-0501.
Hey, where you can expect to be pre-approved online? At brcarcredit.com. Need to reestablish? brcarcredit.com. Bankruptcies, divorce, we can help. Shop us online. Once again, brcarcredit.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. My law firm focuses specifically on helping people try to solve their IRS tax problems. Lately, so many new out-of-state companies are popping up claiming that if you send them money, they can resolve your IRS problems. Well, what happens if they don't? Do you hire an attorney? Maybe you should start with a local attorney that's already handled hundreds of IRS cases right here in Louisiana. When you hire the Bryson Law Firm, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some out-of-town high-pressure salesman. You'll meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and we'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it'll cost. So if you're hiring a company to resolve your IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, check their reputation first, then call me, Kerry Bryson, or go to brysonlawfirm.com. If you're a Louisiana resident and you have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney, Kerry Bryson.
It's time for our weekly run through the LSU Athletic Department, and we start off with some basketball. A couple things. Number one ranked Kentucky Wildcats came to town last Saturday at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. Over 10,000 actual attendance. I was at the ball game. Troy watched it on TV. Kentucky's ranked number one. It was easy to see why. An incredible amount of talent on that basketball team. They were just too good for LSU. A little spurt by LSU when Anthony Davis was on the bench for Kentucky, but other than that, it was all Kentucky, as you may have thought, as they lost that game 74-50. Their next game will be Saturday, February 4th against Arkansas in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. 12:45 tip-off. Hopefully you can get out there and check that one out. 12-9 overall, 2-5 in the SEC. Kentucky was just better, Troy.
No doubt about it. We just talked about it for about 60 seconds there. Off the lob pass from Hickey to Storm Warren when he stuffed it and the crowd went crazy. It was a nice crowd of about 11,000 in there. You thought LSU might have a shot to maybe pull the upset of all upsets, but then Davis comes back in after he took a bump on the floor on his head, and they're just too long, too lean. You're talking about Terrence Jones, Anthony Davis, Kid Gilchrist, who didn't have his best game of the season for Kentucky. I mean, you're talking about 3 NBA guys in the lineup.
Yeah, and again, Kentucky was just better, but it was good to see a big actual crowd in the PMAC, biggest one I've seen in many, many years out there, over 2,000 students. That's great, and over 10,000 actual attendance at the PMAC. Made some noise when they had a chance to make some noise, and you know, playing the #1 team will do that sometimes too. Not often you get to look at the #1 team in the country, and those people that went to the PMAC did it. Women's basketball, they've been struggling as of late. Did get a non-conference victory during the week last week against East Tennessee State in overtime, 71-68, but lost at Vanderbilt. Their next home game Thursday of this week against Florida, 6 o'clock tip-off in the PMAC. Nikki Caldwell needs to 14-7 overall, 4-4 in the SEC, needs to kick back into some winning category.
No doubt about it. I mean, they're hurting right now in the guard position. Obviously, you lose Destiny Hughes to the knee injury. And then John Kinney, the local product out of St. Michael's, not able to handle the basketball. She had the concussion. Hopefully she'll come back soon. Just not getting much guard play. Not enough athletes on this team. I think Coach Caldwell has said it several times. We have to get more players. They're in a situation right now. It's getting a situation where they got to win some games, and they're not going to make the postseason.
All right, softball. The softball team, first-year coach Beth Torina, selected to finish second in the SEC West, tied in one of the national polls with Nebraska at number 20. Another poll, they're 22, USA Today. They got their Tiger Classic on February 10th. Penn State rolling into Tiger Park. Also in that Classic, they got some matchups also with Michigan State and Louisiana Tech. So it'll be interesting to see how Beth Torina can do in her first year as the head of the Lady Tiger softball program after taking over for the legend Yvette Gerard.
No doubt about it. A lot of good things I've heard about Beth Torina. A local player from Ascension Catholic, Allison Falcon, plays on that team. She plays shortstop at Ascension Catholic. Got to cover her during her career, so I want to wish Allison good luck. But this LSU team does return some experience, especially in the circle too. They do return some experience. So we'll see. I think Beth is gonna bring some excitement to the program.
All right, and Coach Brian Lee's soccer program had some signees that they wanted to announce. 5 players becoming a part of the soccer program for 2012. You see the names up there. Brian Lee does a great job with that soccer program. When we come back, we'll put a recap on LSU's signing class. 22 players due to letter of intent thing out at LSU today. Troy LaBeouf and Tommy Krysan will comment on that and put a wrap on it for you. Stay with us. We've got more Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com has been extremely beneficial for the TM Automotive Group. And what stands out to us, it's easy to use, not only for us, but it's easy for the applicants. And it's the quality of applicants that we get. It's timely. We post something in the morning. By that afternoon, we have double-digit applicants. And again, it's the quality of the applicants.
Employers, now is a great time to hire, recruit, and look for potential new employees.
BetterBatonRougeJobs.com. It's free for job seekers and great for business.
You're on the same flight.
We'll be on the same plane
Yeah,
regardless.
when we need to work. Are you together? Do we know
Got it.
Thanks, Dave.
The big, brilliant, thin Samsung Infuse 4G. Only from the network of possibilities, AT&T. For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We continue with Tigers Roar. Got about 5 minutes left for you. Troy LaBeouf, sports director at KKAY 1590 AM. And, of course, me, Tommy Krysan of Pelican Sports TV. 22 players signed with LSU today. One surprise on the way in, Quan Alexander, the linebacker from over in Alabama, decided to come to LSU. Defensive player Shiro Davis of the Shreveport area switched and went to Texas. So a little surprise in, a little surprise out there. Did get a quarterback in the class, as we talked about, Jeremy Liggins from Oxford, Mississippi. And running back Jeremy Hill from Redemptorist High School in Baton Rouge came out last year, and as you said, Troy, was rated ahead of Kenny Hilliard in some books last year, and we saw what Hilliard did this year for LSU. He's got his legal issues behind him, apparently, and he'll be a part of this class, and he's already enrolled at LSU. He'll be in spring practice. Breaking it down for you a little bit, first by state, 22 total signees, 14 from the state of Louisiana, 3 from Texas, 2 from Georgia, and then 1 each from Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. You look at the Louisiana signees there. We had tape on about 9 of these guys, 10 of these guys earlier in the program. Again, this is a live show on Wednesday. If you're catching it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you got a replay going. And if you're just tuning in now, catch that replay. You can see all that tape, as well as all the comments from Coach Miles that took place out on the campus today. The breakdown of the 22 players by position: 5 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, 3 offensive linemen, 3 wide receivers, a quarterback, a running back, a tight end, a defensive lineman, 1 athlete, 1 long snapper. So, Troy, linebackers, defensive backs, that's where the focus was. Linebacker, as good as that defense was this past year, that was the part that might have been the weak link in the chain. And defensive backs, LSU's quickly building a rich tradition of outstanding defensive backs, and they brought in a bunch of guys to keep that tradition going.
No doubt about it. You look at 22 signees, like you said, 10 of those being in the linebacker and the defensive backfield. I mean, you lose Baker. Also, you lose Brooks. So you lose some experience. Claiborne leaves gone, early. He's going to be a top.
Brandon Taylor's gone.
Right. So you got to start plugging some guys in for the future. Taj Jones returns at the linebacker position. Ward number 58 was a demon on special teams.
From Sulphur High.
Sulphur High. He'll get an opportunity to play early. And then you're going to mix some young linebackers in there. You'll have a couple of juniors and seniors in that group. DJ Welter, as mentioned earlier, is a sophomore returning for him. So there's some guys that can revamp this roster in the upcoming years.
And according to ESPN.com, LSU got 5 of the top 150 players listed by ESPN. That would be Quan Alexander, Vidal Alexander, big offensive lineman from Buford, Georgia, Jeremy Liggins, the quarterback from Oxford, Mississippi, Ronnie Feist, the linebacker from West St. John High School, Coach Robert Valdez, and then Lorenzo Phillips, who was also the linebacker from Patterson High School, who's expected to be a really, really good football player as well. So it is what it is. Yeah, some guys got away. No question about that. That happens every year. Some get away. And then LSU, of course, takes some from some other states, as they did with Quan Alexander, Vidal Alexander, and Jeremy Liggins, who are 3 of their highest-rated players coming from outside of Louisiana. So true measurement will be 2, 3, 4 years down the road for this class, but that's what it is. You can go to LSUsports.net, tigerbait.com to get complete information. I want to remind you guys about a couple of things. KKAY 1590 AM radio, home of Pelican Sports Radio, Monday through Fridays from 3 until 4 p.m., taking your phone calls and mixing it up. The 4th show in the 4-show lineup of local sports, Baton Rouge, South Louisiana. Jordy Hultberg from 7 to 9 a.m., Chad Bluen 9 to 11, Buddy Sanji keeping it spicy from 1 to 3, and Pelican Sports Radio from 3 to 4. That's Monday through Friday. Streaming online at KKAY1590.com or Global Radio KKAY.com. There's a free app for your smartphone. Tune in. And Troy, it's about a 3+ weeks into that now with all that local sports, and you're the sports director, and it's been a couple of bumps and hiccups, but nothing that we're not going to make better and become a big player in the market.
There's no doubt about it. We're so happy to have you guys aboard. Harry Hall, our general manager, and Bridget doing it, working as hard as they can, and I'm always there for you guys as well, and I enjoy listening to the local sports. I've gotten so many great comments. You can also check our Facebook page at KKY1590 as well.
There you go, KKY1590. Check out that Facebook page, and of course Pelican Broadcasting Facebook page. We got the YouTube page, the Twitter account is at Pelican Sports. We got it all. I want to thank Chris and Nick, the entire Pelican Sports TV crew, for all the work on the editing tonight. Troy LaBeouf, Tommy Krysan, the crew at Pelican. Have a good evening, everyone.